Now, I've never talked about my time in the military publicly, you know, and what it was like to serve under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and I'm going to do that because I think it's worth documenting and kind of just putting my experience out there for the world, for anybody that's curious what that was like. So I served in the United States Air Force from 2000 to 2004. I was a jet engine mechanic. I worked on the F-16s, the Pratt & Whitney 220 engines, and I got stationed out at Luke Air Force Base. So I'm also gay, to throw that out there. So I was serving under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I was like 19, 20 when I joined the military, and I love the Air Force, man. I love the Air Force. I still have my airman coin right here. This is like my prized possession. I worked my ass off to get this. I know it's the Air Force and be like, oh, but it was hard for me to do that. It's hard for anybody to join the military, especially back then. Like 9/11 happened while I was in the military. And that was terrifying. I mean, the world just suddenly changed one day. But for me, I didn't go overseas. I was stationed at Luke. It's in Arizona. And I was in for 4 years. And yeah, it was tough serving under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Basic was easy. I love basic. I had a lot of friends in basic training. I had a lot of friends in tech school. When I got to Luke, man, everything changed. Everything changed. I got put on swing shift, nighttime shift, and those guys, it was not playful ribbing. It was not just, let's tease the new guy. This went on for months, where there was just systemic harassment with my fellow airmen. If those guys see this, I forgive you. I don't hold grudges, but man, did you guys put me through hell. I mean, you really put me through hell. I mean, I've never come so close to, that at the depth of despair I felt. I was trapped. I had a tour of duty I had to complete, and I was serving in a Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The NCOs that worked the swing shift those first 8 months I was out there knew what was going on. They let it happen. They just let it happen. Nobody stepped in to stop anything. In fact, it became like this huge thing, and I was, oh my God. I mean, the stories that people, I was a laughing stock of that squadron. Nobody stepped in. Eventually, I got sent to day shift, and I started going to college, right? And you would think, oh, wow, that's great. But then I ran into a whole other host of issues with another airman who got very obsessed with me, and there was a whole other level of sexual harassment that happened then. He, tried to assault me one time, and then he outed me, and I didn't know that he outed me. So he outs me. Nobody tells me that I've been outed. This guy was trying to get me kicked out of the military because he was who he was. He has since passed away. I don't hate the guy. I don't begrudge him. He was young, and I don't know what that was, why he had such a weird obsession with me, but he did. He did. He really did. And a lot of people knew about that. So that's what I had to go through. I eventually took him up on and another airman, 2 airmen up on charges of sexual harassment. It was about 6 months before I got out of the military. And they did the reason I did that was because I finally I had enough. And I had a new supervisor who happened to be a woman, and she told me her horrible story about how she had been sexually harassed by, and just this unbelievably horrible story. And then there was something she could do about it. What do you do? Who do you talk to about stuff like that? The military didn't, the Air Force, so much, I hope things have changed, So she encouraged me to come forward. I do. I bring formal charges against these 2 guys. There's an investigation. One of the guys, nothing happens to him. The other guy, the one that was primarily responsible for outing me, the one that did out me, he lost his strike. That was it. And then I was sat down and I was given a lecture by an NCO who said, you are partially responsible for this. You should have come forward. You should have dealt with this sooner. That's what they told me. Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a joke. I served with distinction. I left with an honorable discharge, but my God, did I leave with a host of trauma that I did not understand. I ran as far away from the military as I possibly could. I did not go to the VA for mental health care, and it almost killed me. I mean, for nearly 20 years, I suffered with serious PTSD. I had all kinds of issues with alcohol, and I wasn't necessarily an alcoholic, but I certainly abused alcohol for most of that period. And yeah, I mean, I just had I had a lot of trauma that I needed to resolve. So I'm going to put this out there. Military sexual trauma is a thing. If you're somebody who was harassed like I was, maybe you're a woman, maybe you're gay, maybe you're just a guy in the military, you just went through it, I would talk about it. I had no idea how much I had repressed, how much shame I was carrying around with me, how much guilt, how much the habits, the horrible habits that happen after trauma, you know, that we just carry with us for years and we never realize it. I'm 43 and I'm now just getting an opportunity to unpack all that stuff and understand how to live a good, like the last 3 months of my life have been really good. And it's like the first time in like, since I was a teenager, before the military, where I've had like a sustainable period of a positive mental health. Nothing grows in darkness. Nothing does. So if you're experienced it, you got to talk about it. When you're ready, you have to go get help. Military sexual trauma, it's a thing. There's a clinic you can go to. It should be at your VA. The VA is not well staffed. The VA, they're having a hell of a time filling appointments. That's a whole other story, whole other video. Thank you for watching this. I love all of you. Thank you. Bye.